Today we have Carol Wilcock here with us. She is the founder of Dynamic Health Technologies here in Helena, and we're going to be discussing healthy lifestyles.
Healthy modalities, healthy options, healthy good stuff.
All the good stuff. So I find for myself it's very difficult to kind of navigate some of that, especially when you're starting off. Mm-hmm. I think being healthy is talked about a lot, but not something really known about it enough, which is kind of weird to say because we all want to feel good and to be the best that we can be. And we just don't really know where to start. And so in the marketing that we receive, it's fad diets and it's cool to be vegan. And now it's cool to be
paleo and then carnivore and everything.
Whole30. And then you have all of these options that kind of one at a time. Hey, this is the
fad through
the thing, and you take this product and then you do this. And so it's hard to kind of know. And in the middle of this, our bodies may be feeling terrible.
Right.
And we have life changes and season changes, and we're just desperate for some relief.
Everybody wants to be healthy and comfortable at the same time. Not always hand in hand. Yeah. And a lot of times people are not willing to make that sacrifice, right, for something that doesn't taste like ice cream.
Well, I grew up before any of this health food thing was cool.
Right.
Where it literally tasted like cardboard. Mm-hmm. Like nobody bought it for a reason. Because it was like the stuff you put on the bottom of your hamster cage, right?
Right.
It wasn't cool. It wasn't all gluten-free and sugary and delicious.
Carob and spelt and millet bars, right?
Brand, everything was a brand.
Yeah.
Right.
It was nasty.
It wasn't cool.
I know.
Right?
And there was not a lot of options out there. And it's so much better now. And I love finding delicious food that feels good, mm-hmm. that is good, that tastes amazing. And that's when you know you really hit the nail on the head.
Well, being healthy, though, isn't just food, obviously.
Not even close.
So we've got a lot of things going in our body, happening to our body, and, of course, we're aging.
And then you throw in your command center, so your body will only be as healthy as your mind and spirit will allow.
So that takes us to this
That's
wholeness.
a whole nother,
wholeness, wellness.
Holistic, yeah.
And so what are your thoughts on this? Where do we start?
It's really a trick, isn't it? It's kind of a minefield out there because there's good and bad in every profession, no matter what the profession is. And there's certain levels of, I think, safety or comfort when they say it's natural. But there's a lot of natural things that in overuse, repetitive overuse, can become a problem in and of itself, including like water. You can drink yourself into a situation of absolutely no sodium.
Right.
Right. I mean, it's real. People are like, no, I couldn't drink any more water a day. I'm doing a gallon and a half and I weigh 100 pounds. Well, that's too much, right? And then they have no sodium, which we need for our brains and our nerves and our heart.
Don't you drinking too much water.
Right.
Nobody ever tells me that.
I have told people that. Well, it's an interesting conundrum, and we're in this information age, so you could literally find, articles on how cheeseburgers are healthy and wine prevents cancer and everything in between, right? And how cigarettes are good for you and Doritos are heart healthy and, almonds are bad. So, I mean, you could just get anything right now. The internet's the bathroom wall of the world. So you can get any kind of script on there that you want. And unfortunately, most people spend most of their lives not looking for the right answer or for truth. They're looking for ways to reinforce what they already believe.
Welcome to Common Sense and Consequences, where we sit down with Montanans from every walk of life to talk honestly about what's happening in our communities, at our capital, and in our daily lives. Yeah.
I want to believe that
that's brutal.
It is brutal. Most people really spend their life looking for things that that reinforce what they already believe. And so when we've been taught in certain belief systems, any belief system, anything that doesn't fall into that is just causes cognitive dissonance, and you're like, I don't have a file for that. And it's not inside my file cabinet, therefore it must be wrong or not true or evil or bad or crazy and 100 other labels, right?
Yeah, crazy because I've never heard about it.
Right, because it's not in my file cabinet, so you must be crazy. And it's like, well, you have a kind of small file cabinet. And then there's people who have a doctorate in that file cabinet, but they only have a doctorate in that thing.
Yeah.
It's like there's all this other stuff.
Can't be experts in every single thing.
No, you really can't. So I'm an expert in nothing. Nothing.
But you know a lot
But I know
about a lot of things.
All these little things. And I've been that way my whole life. Just been kind of a jack of all trades. I was a float nurse, even as a kid growing up, play the piano, play the violin, sing, dance. I was on a stage like all the time. And then, but I wasn't first chair.
Right.
I wasn't a concert pianist, but I could pull it off like a lot. So then a float nurse, right? ACLS, but I wasn't ICU certified, but I was advanced cardiac life support certified. So I wasn't an ICU nurse, but I could also work on peds and run that code. And I could work on OB and be the shift person for the head nurse, not head nurse, but, work over staff and be the coordinator there. So it's kind of that has served me well. And it's kind of weird to find somebody who
has such an enormous amount of experience.
Right, such a huge platform of experience, and especially now in healthcare. So that was many years ago in the 90s, right? Well, now since 2000, oh my gosh, everything's changed for me. So it's been another 26 years of integration and finding all these solutions and looking for any solution, because if it works for you, I'm happy. Yeah. I just want people to be comfortable and happy and healthy and living their life and using their talents for what they want.
Right. Not
what I think. So it's not what I know, it's what you need that's important. And that's a huge shift for a lot of practitioners especially.
So let's just touch on that background a little bit. You started in Western medicine.
Yeah. So my dad was a hospital administrator. And then I have 6 brothers, but 2 of them are surgeons. And then I went to nursing school. And if I had it to do over, I've played with a lot of should go back to school and do this or this or this, because I love learning. But became a nurse, worked at St. Pete's for 10 years as a float nurse. And I loved working as a nurse, and I loved floating because it was all about the person. And I didn't get caught up in whatever that floor was going through or whatever shifts they were changing through. And I'm like, I'm just here for my clients and what's best for them, and then move on to the next shift. But I got a ton of experience doing that, working on the psych unit, working on OB or peds or ICU and same-day surgery or whatever. So it's a huge experience.
So how did you shift over into understanding the other options?
All the other stuff.
All the other things.
Well, my mother's side of the family and my grandmother were natural medicine proponents from day one. My grandmother literally grew her own apothecary, but naturopath before it was even a thing.
Right.
So she just grew her own lobelia, purple coneflower, right, which is echinacea. Right? She grew all this stuff, and I was a 6-year-old with my mortar and pestle grinding up herbs and putting them into little capsules. And if I did a good job, I got, strawberry ice cream after we got done with all of our work for the day. And they were all sun-dried organic herbs grown in Arizona. And that's what we grew up with that. So it was like she had quart jars of capsules in a little oxygen packet, circulation, female tonic,
so you always had this
immune
awareness.
support. So I always knew that there was a time and a place for different things. And when we got sick, that was the first tool chest. Right. So we knew tons of doctors because of my dad's business, right, because of his work. but we would go to their house for parties. I can't tell you the name of my pediatrician. I don't even remember going as a kid because we had this huge tool chest. So to me, it's all about understanding the tool chest and then being able to navigate when is the right time, place, situation for that tool chest. So prevention.
Tell me a little bit
intervention.
about that then, the different tool chests, the different modalities of the health world.
Yeah.
Let's talk about options.
Well, let me go back to your last question in how I got to where this all started. So after working at the hospital, worked in a doctor's office, just because I was spending so much time on weekends and holidays and away from my family. And there was other things. I was seeing that more and more people with chronic issues they have a very small toolbox.
Right.
If the drug didn't work, if the procedure didn't work, then where are you? They're like, well, that's all we have for you. Best of luck. And I just had such compassion and empathy for people dealing with chronic issues. And so that was my motivation in looking for other solutions. Mm-hmm. And I had some cases that were just brutal. And I just thought, I don't know if I can be a better asset than anybody else, but I already know this much, like I can do better than what I was seeing at the time. Mm-hmm. And so it started opening my options. And it was my husband who had bone spurs on his feet who brought me into the quantum biofeedback modality that I've been using now for 24 years. But that's not the only thing, right?
One of the tools.
It's just one of the tools. It's a good tool. So, and it helps navigate where else you need to go. So that's kind of a nice adjunct. But that was, the background of Western medicine, experiencing natural medicine, grew up with standard process, and then my grandmother's homemade apothecary of salves and tinctures and pills, just all, teas, all the things. So that's where the background came in, that it was all about timing more than anything. There's a time and a place, and prevention, and using some things that are less invasive before you just jump. But if you need that, then it's there, and a huge advocate for that. So that's where that all came from.
Yeah, nobody talks about timing.
It's a thing.
So you've
It's a
got
big deal.
Western medicine, obviously. That's what our normal standard of care is.
Yeah.
You and I have talked a little bit about some of the different other tools in the toolbox.
Okay, so we'll go into the toolbox.
Go into the toolbox.
Let's do the toolbox. Well, to me, there's 4 really big categories of health. So we have Western medicine, which is basically symptom management, disease management. If you have diabetes, please take your insulin, right? That's going to be short-lived if you don't, right? If you are in a car wreck and you break X number of bones, please get them, go to ER and go to one of my brothers. So, right? So you want to use that appropriately, but it is, for a lot of different things, it's more symptom management or a disease or a situation. Right? If there's an elephant sitting on your chest, then get a stent.
Right.
Please. Right? But how do you prevent the elephant from showing up? So that's where all the other tool chests come in. So then there's structural medicine, which is more chiropractic, physical therapy, exercise even, right, where you're in correct alignment. And the reason that's so important is that your brain connects to every organ in your body through your spine. And all of your meridians go through your joints. And if you don't have good alignment, you're going to have a blockage, which means eventually that organ's not talking to your brain, and it's going to start having problems. So we have all of these, your body, I have a tickle. Your body has all these maps, right? There's your face, your tongue, your hands, reflexology, your feet, it just goes on and on and on. There's so many maps within the body, and your spine, like I said, connects to all those organs.
Right.
And if you don't have good alignment in your spine, if it's curving one direction or another or pinching, you're going to lose communication with that organ, which means then it's going to be predisposed to have disease or toxicity or problems.
Well, and for your nervous system, that's an incredible amount
Huge.
of pain.
Yeah. Yeah. If you pinch the nerve, then Then you're like, oh, now I'm motivated.
Right.
Now it's the right time.
The firing, the overfiring, it's like you can't ignore it, some of those things. But, in Western medicine, their only option that I'm aware of is surgery.
Well, or Neurontin, you can decapitate, right? Chemically decapitate your brain from your rest of your sensory nerves.
I don't think I want to
The
use
motor
the word
nerves,
decapitate.
right? The motor nerves are still going to work, but the sensory pathway is now, it's numb.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of numbing agents out there. So, but you have to consider what you're doing. You're saying, I'm willing to not listen anymore. And when we have pain, pain is a symptom. It's not the problem. It's a symptom of a problem. So it's just pain is your body talking to you.
Yeah.
Could you help me out a little here? Like, this is not comfortable. So we have these discomforts because your body is saying, y'all need to get a fix on this.
Yeah, something's wrong. But then we don't really know where to start. So let's
Right.
talk about some of the other modalities there.
So then, initially we talked about nutrition and basically good things coming in, all the things we don't need coming out. So sometimes detoxing, I've said now there's no bubble to live in. There's no world that's not toxic. There's no place.
Right.
There's no bubble to live in anymore. So we are all exposed to toxins now. We can do our best. You eat clean food, eat single ingredient foods. That's a huge place to start. Anything in a box or a can or a bag, odds are you're not eating clean food. Just cut them out.
Not optimal.
Yeah. So just eat everything on the outside of the grocery store. Skip the middle. Completely skip the middle. Just start at the produce section and fill up half your cart right there.
Right.
And then you do a little protein and maybe some whole grains. Gluten and grains get really weaponized.
Right.
Now that's really popular. It's protein. It's plant protein. It didn't do anything wrong. It's the abundance we eat of it, right? If you have
Right, and how it's processed.
cereal and toast for breakfast and then you have a sandwich for lunch and pasta for dinner, you only ate one thing all day long with little condiments on it.
Yeah.
So that's the challenge, is that we're not eating all the whole foods.
Right.
So
And a lot of that's convenience.
Yep. And then there's the people who's like, well, it's okay if I eat through the middle of the grocery store, right? The bags and the boxes and the cans. That's okay as long as I take supplements. Like there's always a way to shortcut, and I can just buy $500 or $600 or $700 worth of supplements every month, and I can buy my way into health through pills. And it's like, there's no pill tree.
Yeah.
That's just not how the earth was created. It's not how we're created.
So we have to take some ownership.
Yeah.
And before you get to the pain point, what choices are we making? And what modalities can we use to increase our nutrition, increase our strength and our resilience, and make our body function well, so that we don't get to that other place of such discomfort so quickly.
Absolutely. And it's not that I'm not, I take supplements, but I don't take the same supplements every day. Ever. Because you get worn out in the enzymes to digest them. So if you've been taking the same supplement, I had a lady that came in and her cholesterol was crazy high. And she's like, how is this possible? I've had nothing but oatmeal for breakfast for 40 years. And I said, if you'd have had an egg every other day, your cholesterol would be lower. It would be. Because she ran out of enzymes the first week, 2 weeks, right? So your body gets deficient in the enzymes to break down exactly the same foods all the time. And some of the clients that I see with leaky gut and things like that, their digestive issues they're like, I can't even digest a salad. And I'm like, you're taking enough supplement of resveratrol, which was her favorite thing at the time. I'm like, to fill this room with spinach. So if you ate a room full of spinach, why would you expect that you could digest a salad? Like, you have to have some reasonable expectations of the nutrients we're taking in and our ability to break them down. We're supposed to eat food. but then we have problems with the food. So there's a time and a place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. So what's another section of this? We have your structural, we have your food.
Nutrition, structure. We have Western medicine that we can fall back on whenever we need to, or move forward to sometimes when we need. And then there's the whole world of energy medicine. And this is the part that I think so many people have myths and misunderstandings, and it's a huge, big lump of goo that people just can't segregate or understand different modalities. Plus, it's huge.
Right.
There's so many different things. And so much of the world uses this, except for in our Western medicine culture, we just don't realize that if you go to an acupuncturist, meridians are energy. It's the energy flow of that organ through the body.
Right.
And so people just don't realize that that's energy medicine.
Well, and out of the United States,
Oh, God. Right.
the options are endless. The awareness is endless. Things are very much mainstream as far as what you have in your toolbox. And doctors are some of them very well versed in the different modalities.
And others not.
And, but it's much more common.
Yeah,
But
it's
in the
getting better
United
all the time.
States,
I know.
it's a totally different thing. Like, nobody talks about this. So tell me more about this energy thing.
This energy thing.
The energy thing.
The energy things.
Like, how would you
Things.
explain it if I have no reference for it?
Well, there's different systems of energy. So you have chakras, which billions of people in the world use chakras, which is like an energy wheel. Like if you could see a blue cone coming out of my forehead, that would be your brow chakra. And if you go to yoga, they'll talk about your heart chakra. They'll talk about chakras, and those are energy wheels. And
But
literally,
I can't see it.
right.
So what is the science happening?
You can
for that.
You can see it. It's interesting. And there are people who are blessed with the ability to see meridians. I've met them. I'm not one of them. I would love that skill. I haven't put that in my own tool chest yet, but I would love that. If you take any, like a pendulum or anything like that, somebody's laying down and you can hold it and it will circle around the chakras. And it'll show which way they're spinning.
Because of the energy.
Because of the energy coming from the body. So like in Western medicine, we call it solar plexus. And it's where there's neural complexes that come together. So we just look at it as part of the neurological system, but it's way more than that to the rest of the world. So chakras is a huge system of energy. There's a whole biofield, and we intuitively know that if somebody comes up behind you, you can't see them, but you're like, whoa, who's that, right? You can feel that because it's in your biofield.
Feel the weird vibes with like the hair stand up on the back of your neck.
Oh, that's a whole nother
when
thing.
you're sensing danger, like that kind of a
well,
sort of
that
a
would be
thing.
an extreme, but just the presence of somebody on the other side of the door. I mean, I've been in a
looking at
restroom.
me when I'm sleeping. You can sense
Right.
somebody's there.
The dog right there. Yeah, so we can feel when people are in our space. That's the biofield. And there's people who work in like Barbara Brennan's School of Energy Medicine, and they are taught how to sense and feel and work with biofield. So then there's chakras or acupuncture meridians, traditional Chinese medicine, which includes a huge herbal component along with the actual flow of energy. And then you have acupuncture points that are places that will help resolve a symptom. And so I wish, and I actually know of a hospital, and they have an acupuncturist on staff in the ER 24/7 to help with symptom management. Let's de-escalate. Let's get things calmed down. There's emergency points that you can use, and it's like even if they don't even use a needle, you can do acupressure. But they had an acupuncturist on staff to help manage their system, calm the sympathetic nervous system down, that fight-flight response, and then they can tolerate all of the diagnostics and everything else that you need to go through to figure out what's really going on. but
It's
it's
like a
like
calming and a balancing to even be able to move forward sometimes.
Yeah.
Now, I've done several like self-defense type classes and things, and one of them was really unique, where we learned about pressure points and how when you are defending yourself, especially if you're like a small human and you've got this giant monster of a man, right?
I have 6 brothers, I know.
When you're trying to defend yourself, that you can hit on these pressure points and it will just make them just go totally weak. Is that kind of the similar type of idea?
That's more the neurocomplex, right? Where you're shutting that nerve thing, they're shutting that down. Acupuncture would be more calming on like the vagus nerve, so that the heart rate can relax, and so the parasympathetic nervous system can stabilize, and then sympathetic gets you out of that fight-flight response. You're in a fight response, whereas like you need to just
shut it down right now.
Yeah, de-escalate in a huge way, and so, but not permanently damaged, right? So you didn't harm them,
right?
But you got yourself some time.
Shutting off the battery for a second. So it's kind of, to me, it's like maybe a similar idea. You're still using the same process, the same maybe science sort of. You're still activating and kind of using the same things.
Yeah, I can see that.
But maybe a little bit differently.
Different situation.
Way different situation.
Timing.
But just to offer that we use the science of this in different ways that we don't understand and we're not aware of. So much of the things you can't see, it's a little scary.
Well, but look at diagnostic imaging, because I hear, a physician or a nurse or somebody who doesn't like the word or the language of energy medicine. And I'm like, but don't you use ultrasounds? That's a sound wave. Don't you use an MRI? That's magnetic. That's an energy you can't see, right? Take 2 magnets. You can't see that.
Right.
But we know we can see the result of that.
See the results.
Right. We use thermography, right? That's heat, cold. We don't see heat and cold. We feel it because we have sensors in our nervous system that alert us to hot and cold days, right? And cold and hot objects. But we don't see that. Right. If you look behind a glass in a grocery store, you get a sense of what is hot and cold, but it's just literally glass. And it's like those are frozen peas, so that's what we expect. They could be cooked peas behind that glass, right? So we use EKGs, EEGs. I had somebody who was like, there's no way galvanized skin resistance is one of the modalities I use. And so that's literally tension in the skin, is skin resistance. And he's like, you can't know that through the skin. You can't measure electricity through the skin. And I was like, so EKGs are not real? ECGs are not real? Would you kid or redo your answer? That maybe redo the question. Like, are you sure about that?
Right.
And he's like, he goes, and he had a family member that was there with him, and he's like, well, we don't mean to offend you. And I'm like, well, you just basically told me that the last 38 years of my life are irrelevant. Like working in ICU, working in ECG, and I can see a monitor, and I can see somebody go from a normal sinus rhythm into, VTAC, and I watch like just jump on their chest and do a precordial thump and pull them right back out of that. But that's not real. I didn't see that EKG change because you can't measure electricity through the skin. I'm like, are you sure? Really? Are you super sure? Yeah.
Well, and that just goes to show how we have these ideas, like you said, file cabinets.
Yep.
We have these little areas where it's really hard to see outside of the box.
And some people just have a Rolodex, and they're just really comfortable there. Like, give me just my little paper Rolodex, and that's where I'm comfortable, right? And it's like, no, there's no file cabinet, and there certainly isn't a room full of files. Like, here's a whole file cabinet full of acupuncture, traditional Chinese medicine. Here's a whole, Ayurvedic medicine that includes there's 43 different kinds of yoga.
I didn't know there were
Yeah,
that
there's
many.
so many. So
Yeah.
it's and you have physical therapists, chiropractors, exercise, trainers that are really great at alignment. You have all of these, anything from Reiki to sound therapy, light therapy. That's all energy. It's all energy medicine.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's just so interesting that a lot of the things we're used to uses that, but because we see it in a machine.
Right, because you can visually analyze it,
Yeah.
and because we put value behind it,
Right.
now it's okay.
Yeah.
But anything we don't understand that somebody didn't explain to us with a white coat, we don't understand, so it must be bad,
Yeah.
right?
Well, I love that there's so many options available.
So many.
Even if we don't know. And I know in my world, I have so many friends who over the years have said, I'm struggling with this and I'm struggling with this, or somebody in their family. And they've been to all the doctors and the specialists and all around the country, and nobody can tell them, you said this was going to fix it. And, okay, well, it's not fixed. Or maybe it's worse, or they run out of options and they don't know where to turn to. Sometimes they don't. I had one friend, her doctor told her that she could eat whatever she wanted. It made zero difference.
I know.
At all. At the time she was struggling with a candida overgrowth.
Oh gosh.
So
yeah, enjoy your soda.
the sugar
and
right?
the sugar, yeah.
It makes it in my mind when I imagine it, it's like putting vinegar on baking soda.
Yeah.
You put sugar into that candida situation.
I just
you
ask
can't.
him. I'm like, okay, so if you have candida and you wanted to diagnose that, what growth medium would you use? In a petri dish, right? What would you use? Sugar, because that's what it grows in, right? So it's like,
But no food matters, and
Right,
this
but
is
food
coming
doesn't
from a
matter.
doctor.
I know.
Because that's what they're teaching now.
Well, and it's true. I taught research at Carroll College for a while, and I had one student they could choose their topic, and she chose type 2 diabetes, because her aunt had that, and she watched that process, and she's like, I want to learn more, so that's what I'm going to research. And she found an article, so they have to do qualitative, quantitative data, blah, 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 and we have a whole semester of assignments, right? And she submitted this assignment, and in one of them was a PubMed research article that said it doesn't matter what you eat if you have diabetes. And I failed her. I didn't fail her from the class. I penciled an F on that assignment. And she goes, "Are you kidding me? You gave me an F." And I said, here's the thing. If this is your aunt, are you going to take her a plate of cookies this weekend? Your diabetic aunt, are you going to sit a plate of cookies in front of her? And she goes, no. That would be bad for her blood sugar. And I says, then why would you submit this? She goes, well, it meets the criteria. It's been published in the last 5 years. It met the things. And I said, in not very long period of time, you're going to be considered somewhat of an expert. And this is something you're spending an entire semester researching one thing, one disease process, which you could spend a lifetime researching, by the way.
Right.
So we're just scratching the surface here. I says, but to your friends, family, colleagues, this will be something where you might be somewhat of an expert. And you're submitting this? Do you not have any cognitive processing going on here? Do we not have any deductive reasoning left in our students? It's really a struggle. I had to make her think, because she's just checking the boxes. And we go through life so often just checking the boxes, thinking that's okay. It's normal. Right. I found this. It's validated. A physician published it. And I'm like, so you're taking cookies this weekend to your aunt? Well, no, I wouldn't do that. Then why would you submit this? I said, go back and do it right. Diet matters a ton with a disease process like diabetes or with fungus. And I'm like, of course it matters. Of course that matters, but that's because they're looking at this process. Like, it's not going to regenerate pancreatic cells. No, but it's going to slow down the process.
Yeah,
right?
and you're going to have symptoms.
At the very least, right? And you're going to exacerbate
it's not helpful.
the neuropathy and
Right.
the heart disease and
Yeah.
the kidney failure. I'm like, you're just putting them, through that process much earlier versus controlling your diet. Will it regrow healthy pancreatic cells if you don't take cookies? No, that's what the article was saying. It's not going to
right.
reverse. Yeah. But I'm like, so you're taking cookies? She said, no. Use your head.
Well,
Come
there's
on.
some common sense
Come on,
that you
come on.
have to, you have to use and to apply when you're looking at a lot of this. But that's a great example.
Of what we see.
Right.
Right.
Right. And how simple shifts. When I'm thinking of being healthy, you have to kind of think through all of that. It's maybe it's just not bringing cookies, but maybe I don't need to have a cookie today. Right? Maybe I can arrange that for this weekend when I'm at this event.
And save it. That 80, a lot of people, are loving that 80-20.
The
Like
80-20.
80-20, 80% of the time. I'm exercising 80% of the time. I'm
Right.
eating clean, whole foods 80% of the time. And that way, if I have birthday cake, it's not going to put me over the edge. Or if
Right.
I take a day off because I'm flying in an airplane or going on vacation and I literally just vegged out the entire day, right? It's an 80-20.
Well, and to me, it comes down to what can I control?
Yeah.
You can't control your whole world all the time, right? You're going to be places where you're going to need other options or
Yeah.
you're going to have limits. But when we're talking about not just food, but maybe your exercise or just your habits.
Lifestyle, sleep. Sleep's a big deal.
When you say, hey, I want to live healthy, it's almost exhausting just saying it because like it's overwhelming.
Well, like that's your full-time job now.
Sometimes when you make those shifts, it is a full-time job,
Right.
Like
now I have to cook from scratch 3 meals a day.
Yeah.
And now I have to exercise this and I have to do this and I have to, and now this is your total preoccupation of everything you need to do
Right.
in a day is all related to just maintaining your healthy body, mind, spirit. Now you have to read so many books a day and you got to meditate
too
and
much
many
pressure.
hours a day. And it's
too much pressure.
It's unachievable.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. But I know that there's so many little things
So then we just give
that
up,
we
right?
can do. Well, I mean, the point is that hopefully we don't. But I think that there's so much grace that needs to be had. And we kind of just got to leave the pressure out and say, okay, what can I do in this one moment? Because I'm really in
What's
control
the
of my own
healthiest?
health.
That's right. What's my
Right?
healthy choice now?
Yeah, because it doesn't mean I can't ever have sugar. But I know that maybe my body doesn't process it that well. Maybe I have diabetes, maybe I don't. But if I know that eating that cookie is going to do more harm than good to my body right now, or like maybe it's going to just make me feel ill.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm going to get like buzz, like when you give kids sugar, they're bouncing off the walls. Okay, what choices can I make in this moment? What do I want the day to look like?
Yeah.
Right? So maybe it's not, hey, I'm only going to drink water and I'm not going to drink soda ever. But maybe it's,
Well, and if you tell somebody you can never have a piece of birthday cake,
Doesn't
you can
work.
never have soda, you can never have a beer,
Right.
you can never, you always have to take the stairs. It's
Yeah.
like if you never get to have it again, what's the first thing you want? If I tell somebody who's
deprivation,
in
starvation mode happens
mindset,
in
yeah,
my
they're
mind,
like,
right?
oh no, now I got to have a beer
Right.
now, right? A beer
Yeah.
and a pizza, right?
Yeah.
right now. So if I say you can't ever have those things ever again, then that's what you crave. But if you look at it, I had a situation where I had a former employee, and she ordered in. She's new wellness and this whole world of really putting your tool chest together is really what that looks like, and scheduling it so that it's manageable, so you can still accomplish a fun interview with somebody in your day and still be healthy.
Right.
And she brought in a Domino's. And so she's like, and I'm not saying don't ever eat a pizza again, whatever. But she was like, I just wanted something fast and easy and cheap. I'm like, I had an avocado for lunch. That's fast and easy and cheap. And probably more calories than the amount of pizza that she ate. Mm-hmm. But because of the nutrient dense nature of avocado, right? So I ate an entire avocado for lunch and drizzled it with balsamic vinaigrette, and it was salt, and it was so good. And I was like, that took me, like, I just grabbed it while I was at the store doing other things. Literally took me 30 seconds to cut up and another 2 minutes to eat.
Right.
That's fast and cheap and healthy.
Yeah.
I just wanted something fast and cheap and yummy. I'm like, mission accomplished.
Right.
Avocado versus pizza.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm not saying don't eat pizza because the pizza didn't do anything wrong. It's what you put on it or how you make it. But yeah, it's the little things that can make a huge difference. And I have to say, too, one of the other misconceptions that we have ever since, Bo Derek came across in a swimsuit, bikini, size 0, we have this perception that that is healthy.
Yeah.
Right? And I have seen healthy and unhealthy in every shape and size.
Yeah.
I have seen people at their ideal, perfect, unbelievably beautiful weight. They look amazing. And they're disasters on the inside.
Right.
Yeah. So I've seen really ill people. And I've seen people that you would go, heart attack walking. Not really. No, they're a goat, and they'll walk you up that mountain tenfold. They're like, nope, that's not what that is. So I think getting rid of the judgment of what healthy looks like and
Can't
start
make assumptions.
And start, looking at the clarity in their eyes and seeing
your skin.
But some people are blessed
shine
with
of your hair.
Right, beautiful skin. Some people are blessed with that, and other people don't have. They have large pores. Well, large pores doesn't mean that you're sick.
Yeah,
it doesn't. It means you have large pores. It's like
stop with your common sense.
I
Carol.
know. It's just. Yeah, so we have this perception and this media version of beautification and what healthy looks like, and that's not necessarily true. It's how do you feel? Can you run a mile or walk a mile? And sometimes I see people running, and I'm like, oh my gosh, just stop. You're just making your joints wear out faster because they're all out of alignment. And I'm like, oh my gosh, just make it. Like, that looks so painful. Stop. I just want to just don't go swimming, stop running, go, finding the right exercise for you is a big deal too. Yeah.
So that kind of tackles a lot of the more common things when we're talking about health. But what about things like overstimulation, lack of sleep, being on your computer all the time,
phone,
like the addictions and the things that we use every day. But I mean, I don't know about anybody else, but I feel exhausted when I am at the computer all day. Like, I feel like I need to go home and take a nap. Take off my feet and stand in the grass, go hug a tree, or something.
All of those things.
I gotta go.
Yeah.
Like, my body feels tense.
Yeah, so there's a lot of research on blue light, which comes from our phones, unless you turn it into a dark or warm mode. And turning your computer into a warm mode, because the blue light is very damaging to your hypothalamus. And now we have kids, right? Go to a restaurant and see an 18-month-old on their phone, on their little device. And it's like, you can't even eat dinner without being addicted to the device. And so, but the blue light damages your hypothalamus, which is your command center. I mean, you have your pineal gland, which is your crown chakra, right? And then your hypothalamus controls both your whole endocrine system, controls
hormones,
controls your pituitary, which controls your thyroid. Anybody know anybody on a thyroid medication? Come on.
Several friends who've had their thyroids
removed or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then it controls your autonomic nervous system as well. So the whole fight flight, and it's all the hypothalamus. So just blue light. Look at the amount of blue light that we're exposed to on your TVs, on your computers, on your phones. Just red light, just softening and warming the light, and getting out in the sun at least 20 minutes a day. Sunshine on your head, actually just sunshine. You guys don't. The sunscreens it's like putting aluminum foil over your baked goods. What does it do? It intensifies.
Yeah.
So the zinc, there's there's a whole bunch of different websites and apps that'll tell you which products are good and bad and how much toxicity they've got in them. And there's so many great options for people. You can do your homework and find those healthier options, but please get in the sun. So good for us.
Yeah, for so many reasons.
Yeah, you don't have to lay out in the sun all day. I'm not saying that, right? Mm-hmm. And if you're going to be in the sun all day, then you do need to protect your skin, but probably with clothes like linen and cotton and things that breathe.
So again, there's other options.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We don't have to necessarily reach for the one that has become the most convenient or a habit. Mm-hmm. Half the things we do, I think we just quit thinking through because it's what we've always done.
Well, it's what we've been programmed.
Yeah.
Right. It's what we've been indoctrinated with.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, I'm not saying all of it's wrong, but we need to have unbelievable levels of discernment now more than ever. We have to be able to figure out what's really the message there.
Right.
What are we really trying to tell you? Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at the underlying message.
So do you think that it weighs more to add things or to take away things?
Oh, I think adding in. Right. So if I'm going to deprive you of all of your comforts and deprive you of everything in your cupboards and your clothes and all your products in your house, your cleaning products, right. No, it's easier if we just make the better choice. When that runs out, make the better choice, right? When that shampoo wears out, well, now you can go buy your shampoo someplace else, right? Or find a different product that's
it's the same
better.
Price.
No, it's not. But in the long run, way cheaper.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's if I had to have a big, hairy, audacious goal by the end of my lifetime, is to prove that prevention works. And the only way we're ever going to prove that is in the pocketbook. How much money this person spent. I had one client, and she's amazing. She had such a great schedule of wellness. She's a super busy professional, very busy. But she scheduled, she went to her naturopath twice a year. She went to her regular doc once a year. She scheduled a massage or a biofeedback or something that was just a feel good once a month. And she did, she just had this unbelievable schedule. Literally once a week, she had set aside a couple hours once a week that was her time. And so between her all that, she saw her chiropractor on a regular basis because she was sitting and in a brain job, not a physical job. And she used her lunch hour to walk around the space where she worked. And so she's like, I got my steps in, and instead of just sitting in my car, she was out walking. And she used to go to the mall and walk the mall for lunch, right? Because we don't have a good indoor space.
Some people do at the airport, though.
I know. They're walking at the airport. I've seen them. So but find a space, find an option, and just choose to just simply replace one thing at a time. And I think that's really wise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're getting steps, and I always like to do it with a friend.
It's easier. Accountability.
You get your chat in, you get accountability, you're getting connection, and you're getting your exercise. When we're talking about how we feeling healthy, what are some of these, maybe you might classify them as early warning signs, where we're not like really sick, but something is definitely off, where we're like, do I play it off? Like, what do we look for?
Well, it's like fatigue is a big one, or the joint a joint pain
Joints.
or a change in your digestion, it's like, man. And people's awareness.
Yeah.
There's so many people not aware. I had a lady talk to earlier this week, and I was like, is constipation a thing for you? She goes, no, not really. I poop all the time. Little tiny rabbit turds every single time she goes into the bathroom, right? And I'm like, she's so constipated. But she didn't know. She didn't know
You
that
can
you're
Google
supposed
that.
You're right.
You
That
can
you're
Google
supposed to do 6 inches 3 times a day. Like every time you eat, you should also go to the bathroom.
There's
right?
all sorts of recommendations.
Right. You can look it up, you guys. But she didn't know that she thought that was normal.
Yeah.
Was just breaking up little tiny itty bitties. And I'm like, okay, we're going to, like, colon hydrotherapy would be a big goal for her.
But again,
She's
we
got
don't.
a lot of work, but she's not.
If you
she
don't
doesn't
know, nobody
Right.
wants to talk about that. Like, nobody wants to have a bathroom conversation. We can,
Come talk to me. We'll do it.
Yeah, we'll come talk to you about it. You're not. It doesn't bother you.
Nothing is off the table.
Right. Right. Well, I think of. I try to just do one change at a time.
Yeah,
Like,
and add in.
And, it's Marie Kondo, was like, hey, when I'm cleaning out my house, my whatever, I hold this up and does this bring me joy? Does this bring life to me? Mm-hmm. When I'm making choices, I always try to remind myself of this. Is this life-giving to me? Is this beneficial? Is this going to be helpful?
Mm-hmm. Or is it just short-term gratification?
If it's short-term gratification, okay. So that doesn't mean no, but it means maybe I'm going to have a small.
Or good, better, best.
Or maybe I'm gonna do this and then I'm gonna go walk after dinner. Or maybe
But do you ever get on the
choose-
exercise machines? Like I love hip sled. I love the rowing machine.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of my favorite things to exercise. I love that thing. And he's like, this feels so good. Congratulations, you just burned 34 calories. It's like, I didn't do anything, but I feel so much better.
Right.
Right? So I love using that. How are you functioning? How are you feeling? Are you resting well? Do you get up feeling good? Do you feel like getting up in the morning?
Which we should feel like getting up in the morning.
Do you feel like going to bed at night, or is that anxious time as well? Or do you, are you able to go walk? Are you able to chase after your grandkids? Are you able to plant your garden, right, without pain? Pain. So inflammation's a big thing, and it's a huge part of our food and toxicity and lifestyle choices where we're just not getting enough movement.
Right.
Yeah, just not getting the lymph moving. So
Because
you
your
guys
lymphatics,
just walk.
there's no pump for that, right? It doesn't work on its own very well, right?
It does. Well, your exercise and movement is the best thing for lymph, and we have 5 times more lymph in our body than we do blood.
Oh.
5 times. So it's really important in terms of a detox pathway. Yeah, it's a big deal to keep that lymph moving.
So if our lymphatic system isn't moving, it's like nobody's taking out the trash.
That's right.
Oh.
This is garbage packing up in nodules all over the place.
And
Some of them you can.
Sounds less fun.
Yeah, it's a lot more work.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'm a big proponent of just doing what we can as we can, and really noticing. Is when I started to feel better. I started noticing the small shifts in my body where I was like, okay, I did this. This is what I got. Okay, I could feel things differently.
And a lot of
more
people
aware.
And then a lot of people are like, oh, I've been doing this. And it's like, I'm going to do this. And then they go back, right? Then you go eat a candy bar. Oh my gosh, just feels awful, right? It's like, oh God.
Right.
Ah.
But that's how change
do
happens though, right?
Right.
You kind of move beyond that intense need for certain things. And we really have all the control. We really get to choose all of this. So it's not like this starvation, deprivation mentality. It's I am choosing I like the way my friend puts it. She says, I am choosing the future me that I want to be.
There you go. I love that.
If I want to be able to be active and play with my grandbabies, the choices I make today now matter. So every time I reach for something that is the worst thing, most high reactionary, inflammatory thing that I could have for my body, I'm thinking, is this worth it to me? Weighing it against who I want to be in my future.
Exactly. This is a perfect question.
One choice at a time. And the more I think we can become aware and be aware that we're not stuck in options.
We aren't. We have. You guys, you can import something from everywhere. Right. There's literally, the world is your oyster. You can purchase tools from anywhere. So you can participate at whatever level fits for you. But I love this concept of choosing the better you tomorrow from the choices you make today. Just make one. Just make one. Yeah.
And that's how it starts. That's how it goes.
Just choose the avocado.
Yeah. You eat that elephant one bite at a time, right?
Well, and we don't even have to look at it like a tackling. It's like, no, I'm doing this for me.
Yeah.
I'm doing this for my family. I'm doing this because I feel good. Right. This is helping me feel good. And a lot of times we have this perception. It's like, well, I've worked my butt off all week and I'm so tired and I just want that,
I need a treat.
I need the treat.
Reward.
And the reward is something that's not good for you at all. And it's like, you put your body through all this stress. Why not just go soak in a natural hot spring?
Right.
And drink a coconut water. Right. Versus go to a really destructive, scary movie with a beer and a pizza. Right. So we have options. We have so many different choices that we can make, and just doing the best you can at the time. And then, oh my gosh, you guys, forgiveness, just really, just giving ourselves some grace. I mean, this is not an easy journey that we are all on, and I don't get to judge where you're at. I don't want somebody to judge where I'm at, because I'm literally waking up every day doing the very best I can for me and for the responsibilities that I've managed to create for myself. So, and I own that, right?
Right.
So yesterday was a 16-hour day. It was nuts. I scheduled more than half of that. That's my fault. But it just turned into, it amplified as the day went on. And I own that. Right? So
that doesn't
then
have
I have
to be every day.
That doesn't have to be every day, and I can schedule things differently. So we all choose careers. We choose so much of this, but waking up every day, because I'm compelled to I have family members who are like, you're crazy. Why don't you just go back to the hospital and just work? And I'm like, well, I could, but then who would fit this need?
Right.
This is what I'm compelled to do, right? And we have our veterans, we have first responders. Why would you do that? This is what I'm compelled to do. And it comes with baggage, all the choices, right? And so just giving ourselves some grace and compassion and saying, we are literally showing up, doing the best we can. And the other people in the world are on their own journey, showing up, doing the best they can, even if it sucks, even if we don't agree. That's the best they got. It really is.
Yeah.
And so it allows you to have this level of forgiveness, and it allows for more open conversations where we can say, this is the best, this is their file cabinet. And it's like, well, I really love that you have a Rolodex.
Yeah.
Right. So let's talk about what's in your Rolodex, and maybe we could add a couple cards in there, right? And then build into the file. Yeah, build into the file cabinet. But I also only have my file cabinets. Hopefully there's more than one, right? But still searching, still looking, still wanting to find more and more solutions, bigger and bigger opportunities to help more and more people. So what that looks like is small for me compared to what other people are doing. But that's the best I got today.
Well, I think your best is amazing. You're at the very, you're in my top my one hand of people when I'm like, oh, I really need an option for this. I really need a solution. Who would know?
What would Carol do?
Just point me in another direction, right? You're always right up there
Cute.
for me. And it's good to just have those people in your life where I don't know anything about this, but I think I know somebody who does.
Well, and a lot of times I don't know something about that. So I refer. Like, I know this person who specializes in C1 of your neck and axis, and I'm going to send them over. Oh, I know somebody who's magic at elbows, like did a doctoral dissertation on elbow alignment, right? Don't come see me, go see him, right? So I love being able to, she's amazing with women, especially traumatized women, and realigning their hips and pelvic floor. Go see that person. So I love being able to meet and understand more than what my tool chest is, so that I can, when I meet that person that goes, man, I just really fell and I jerked this, I know where to send you.
Right. Or I've been living with this for a long time, or maybe my medical doctor said, I don't have any more options for you. We can help point you in the right direction if you're aware that there are other options,
Absolutely.
other modalities, other ways to help you feel better and to get living your best life.
Right. Well, and I think that's really where healthcare needs to grow.
Right.
This is where we need to let go of the fences. I know people who are so stuck in natural medicine that they. I literally had a client who he died because his wife and he, but especially his wife, was so fearful of Western medicine that his foot had an injury on it, which turned into a necrotic tissue, and he died from gangrene. I'm like, we have antibiotics. You don't have to die.
Right.
And so when he showed up for hyperbaric, I was like, you have two choices. Yeah. You can go to Great Falls or you can go to Billings, because they have vascular surgeons there that can do the level of care that he needed. And I was like,
that need
and
was so
he looks
great.
at me and he goes, I'm worried I'm going to lose my foot, because it really needed to get amputated. It was no way to save this foot. And I was like, he goes, I'm worried I'm going to lose my foot. And I said, I'm worried you're going to lose your life. Like, you need to deal with this right now. That was on a Tuesday. They didn't go to ER like I asked them to. And I talked to the wife the next day. Oh, well, our daughter who blah, blah, blah. And we put some probiotic cream on it. This is a necrotic gangrenous foot. It's black, like this color. And I'm like,
it's not going to be helpful.
And then on Friday, I called. Well, he's been pretty tired and kind of confused today. And he died on Sunday. And I'm like, he's already gone. Like, it's not even, you don't even have time to cut the foot off at that stage. And I was like, and on Monday she called and asked for a refund on her pre-purchase package. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, yeah, you can have your refund, but yeah, I'm like, you're peeing on a forest fire. So sometimes we're stuck in this camp. And then there's the, I worked at one point in time for a brilliant physician, and he would get so frustrated. He said, I know where they're at, and I know what's coming, right? I know what this disease process looks like, and I have no tools until I get to here.
Yeah.
And I says, why don't you refer them to a naturopath? And he goes, I don't think I can. And I said, I can. And he goes, okay. Because in his scope of practice, he can only recommend what's in his scope of practice. Yeah. He didn't understand, for this person who was a newly diagnosed diabetic, that there was chromium and there was all these, all these different options to help support them until they get to that point. But maybe we can postpone it for 5 or 10 years.
Right.
Or 1 year, right? Anything we can do to delay the disease process using something structural or energy or nutrition or something natural, even just to delay. I love dinging this thing around. So, he was like, oh, the doctor was like, that would be great. Like, I got you. It's okay. I can do that because I don't have that boundary.
Right.
So,
and a lot of the systems do.
Yeah. The whole goal is to get you into that box of a diagnosis, an ICD-10 code, so I can get paid. That's how they get paid. That's how insurance and the whole system works that way.
Right.
And once you're in that box, you have a list of what are your medications and treatment options. And if they go outside that list, they're liable. So if your son came in with really down in the dumps depression, goes to a doctor, and they said, try St. John's wort, and he committed suicide 3 days later, you could sue that doctor for not putting him on an antidepressant because he didn't know you didn't have enough time for that, right? So they're liable. They have to live in that box. So you can't hire them for doing something different than the box that they're in.
Right.
And so I think really respect, and then there's physicians, right? They have patients come in. Well, they expect that physician to be a nutritionist, and they expect that physician to be an herbalist and to know all the interactions between the herbs and the meds. And all of these things, we have these unrealistic expectations. A physician now has to read 30 articles a day to stay on top of the research and see all their patients and do all their paperwork and run a business or work with their committee that they're on with, whatever. There's just
It's not feasible.
It's not feasible. This is not reasonable. And they are legally constrained within that box. And so hire the right people.
Right.
And realize that that's their constraints, right? I'm not going to go to a naturopath to fix my broken bone. I'm going to go to an orthopedic surgeon to fix my broken bone.
Right.
Well, don't go to your orthopedic surgeon and expect him to be a nutritionist.
Right.
And some of them are very open and aware, but others are just looking at you like, I don't have time for this. They just kind of roll their eyes and they don't have that file cabinet. So it's not fair for us to expect them to have that either. So we have to hire the right people at the right time.
Yeah. And there's so many great options.
Yeah.
And things
and it's
to look
more,
into
it's
that
coming.
are,
It's coming.
Yeah, especially early on. You have a lot more options early on before changes you can make before anything becomes to a point where
it's
only
devastating.
have one or two.
I tell this story all the time about integrative medicine, and especially in the world of homeopathy, which is really kind of a bridge between herbal medicine and energy medicine. And a lot of people, especially in Western medicine, have no grasp on how homeopathy works because in the world of Newtonian physics, biochemistry, it doesn't make any sense at all. In the world of energy, it makes perfect sense.
Right.
So I tell this story to clients a lot, and and I love it. It sounds like a joke, but it's actually a good scenario. So these 3 doctors come into a room, and it's a classroom of students, and they're freezing. Oh my gosh, we are so cold. Can you help us? And the Western medicine allopathic doctor goes, absolutely, we got this. We know what it is. And this is a room that's 2,500 square feet, and we need X number of BTUs. And they go down to the hardware store, and here's your BTU, here's your heater, plug it in, warm room, problem solved. Duplicatable, evidence-based, right? We know it's reliable, checks all the boxes. Okay, now fast forward to July, may or may not have a thermostat, but you still got the heater blowing.
Right.
Right. So sometimes there's permanent complications that go with an intervention that is evidence-based, blah, blah, all these things. That's great. And if the room is 20 degrees and they've been living in it all day long, you might really need to plug in a heater. Doesn't mean don't use the heater. So the next doctor is a naturopath. And this naturopath looks at the wall, would be this wall, and says, if I got my directions right, this wall faces south. And if we put a big glass in here and put some windows on the side, then we could get the heat from the sun, the natural heat. And then we could control it with the windows and get some fresh air and movement. And we could control the temperature of the room with natural things. Great. May not be the right time if you're already cold and it's January in Montana. Probably don't break down the wall. So you don't want to do a big time detox in the middle of a health crisis. Right. It's not the time to overhaul the room. If you had consulted with them from the beginning, it's like, I want to do this thing and I want to be in this classroom and I'm going to build this building, or this is going to be my lifestyle. This is where I want to be. How can you help me get there? Well, when we get this under control and this under control, it'd be really great to rebuild that wall. Great. I'll go on vacation and we'll rebuild this wall and you can put up your windows. Okay. So the next one that comes in is the homeopath. Like cures like in homeopathy. And he takes an ice cube and he holds it up next to the thermostat and waits for the furnace to trigger on. It's a trigger. And he goes, where's your furnace? When's the last time you cleaned out your ducts? How's the electrical supply? Do you change your filters? Tell me about what's going on with your furnace. So the way that we're designed, right, it supports what we're supposed to do naturally. But we can use it both to rebuild and also to trigger, like, why are we having a hot flash, right? Well, let's use some belladonna and it'll get rid of the hot flash. Well, if you took belladonna, it would give you a hot flash. But in a homeopathic dose, like cures like, and your body goes, oh, belladonna. It's like, no, let's not do the hot flash because it's in such a micro dose that it's energetically present, not hardly or barely physically present. So, but it evokes a response.
It evokes the response.
Right. So so how would you warm up a room with an ice cube? Well, in Newtonian physics, that's impossible. So it's knowing all of those types of things and the timing, right? So do you need to not plug in the heater? No, plug in the heater. You have to sometimes get through the day. But if you have time, or it's getting cold, I wonder why the furnace didn't kick on. Maybe let's go check it out.
Right.
Replace the batteries in the thermostat. That's what always happens in
October.
Right.
First week of October.
Right.
Not the third week of January.
Right. Exact timing. It's all about timing, right? Yeah. So
good. That's a great story. Well, I think we'll leave it at this story then. That's a great a great way to describe it. And I'm sure we'll still be calling you
we'll have fun
for options as I need them as well. I really appreciate you being here in Helena and being so well versed in so many things, really providing solutions and
finding solutions, finding all those other people that can help you,
ways to be healthy and well and whole and living well.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, isn't it? Keeping you on your feet, on purpose, living well, not being distracted by dis-ease and discomfort and unhealthy. We want you to be able to fulfill your best self.
Yeah.
Thank
Awesome.
you. Thank you for having me.